Okay guys, so welcome back again. So in this video, we'll be talking about Amazon Dynamo DB. So without wasting any time, let's dive into code and let's see how to do all the CRUD operations inside Dynamo DB. Though I could have done a REST API or I could have built a REST API to show you that how the Dynamo DB works. But in my opinion, instead of focusing upon REST API, I would be simply creating some functions to do all the create, read, update and delete operations inside Dynamo DB. So without wasting any time, let's dive into code. So here what I've done is this, that I've created a very basic empty npm project or node project by doing npm init-y to create the defaults. And here we have this thing here, and I only installed this dev dependency called nodemons so that we can simply start our app.js file again and again on changes. So that's what the dev script is doing. And I'm yet to install the dependencies for DynamoDB. So to work with any AWS service, whether it's an S3 service or SES service or DynamoDB, we need to do a bit of digging inside the AWS console. I know that when I first used the AWS console, it was a hell for me. So I would be guiding you in the most simplest steps. So let's go to our AWS console, and you would have already created an AWS account. So here I'm signed into my AWS account, and the first thing I need to do is to create a user that would talk to my DynamoDB. So here what we have, let's open this in a new tab, that is this DynamoDB. And here what you need to do in the search console, you can simply type in users or IAM. So here we need to go to the IAM because we need to create a user to talk to DynamoDB. So that's what I'm doing here. So here, the first thing which we need to do is to go to this users tab here. I already have one user here, which I use for testing, but in your case, it might be an empty table here. So what you need to do, you need to simply click on add users. So I would click here, add users. And here you can provide any username you want your application client to connect to DynamoDB or any other AWS service. In our case, it would be a DynamoDB service. So let me simply call it tutorial user. So here we have created this user, and I would suggest that you should not provide this user the access to the AWS management console. So just leave this unchecked here and now simply click on next. And here you need to add some permissions or attach some policies directly. So what we need to do, we need to click on this button that is attach policies directly. So once you click this, this tab would open, and here we need to simply search for DynamoDB. So DynamoDB. So let me search it. And here, once I search it, we see that these are all the policies that we can attach to this user here. So what I'm going to do for this tutorial, I'm simply going to give this user, that is the tutorial user, full access to DynamoDB. So I'm checking this policy here, and you can again go through all the policies if you are digging deep inside DynamoDB. But here I'm simply going to choose Amazon DynamoDB full access. So now let me click on next here, and now we see that we have this user details here, that is the tutorial user, and it has the full access to DynamoDB. And now I would simply click on create user. So once the user is created, we see that we have the user here. And now what we need to do, we need to provide this user some kind of an API key or a client ID and client secret for this user. So what I would do, I would click on this user again. And here I would go to the security credentials tab here. And here, if we scroll down, we would see this tab here called access keys. And here I would need to generate an access key or create an access key. So I would be creating an access key here. And here you can simply choose the type of application you are building upon. And for simplicity, I'm simply choosing this other thing here. And now let me click on next here. And here we need to display some kind of a tag value. So I would be simply calling it tutorial key. And now, and we do not have to use this name anywhere else, but it's simply a description of the key. So I'm simply calling it tutorial key. And now I would simply click on create access key. So once this access key has been created, it is provided here, that is the access key and the secret access key. So I would be simply copying this access key to my app.js file, or let me copy it here for reference as of now. So let me put it here. So let me put it here. This is the access key. And here I would be simply copying in the secret access key. So secret access key, and this would be secret access key. And don't worry about using these keys here because I would be deleting these access keys and this user from the AWS console. So just don't waste your time using these keys. So let me save it here. And now let's go back, and now let me simply click on done here. And let's simply click on done. So continue. That's all what you need to do inside this IAM console or inside this users thing here. And now let's open this tab here, that is the DynamoDB tab. So if you click on this dashboard, we see that currently we do not have any tables here or any we do not see anything here. And if you click on these tables here, we see that we do not have any tables here. So the first thing which we need to do, we need to create a table here. So let me click on this table here and let's simply call this table products, because in this video I will be simply doing CRUD operations on a product thing. A product can be any product. So let me simply call the table name to be product, and just remember this product table name. And here we need to provide in the partition key. So let me increase the font size. So the partition key is simply the primary key of your table. So if you're coming from a SQL database, you know that what a primary key is. So that's what a partition key is in DynamoDB. So let me simply call it ID. And this would be of type of a string. And then again, you can dig into DynamoDB about what the sort key is. I'm simply omitting here because it's optional here. And now let me simply scroll down and I would simply click on create table. So it would take a couple of seconds. So now we see that this table is active here. And now what we can do, we can go inside this table. So that is this product table. And here, if we click on this explore items, so let me click on explore table items at the very top here. So we see that currently we do not have any item here. So what we can do, we can manually create an item here. And this all we would be doing using our application. But for now, let me create an item here. So the partition key should be a unique key. So let me simply call it random key for now, just for demonstration purposes. And we can add new attribute. So that would be of type of string. And this would be the name of the product. The product name would be like, let's say iPhone 14. And now we can add another attribute that would be a number. So that would be simply called price. And iPhone 14 would be like $699. And then if you want, you can add as many attributes as you like. And these are the types of the attributes, or these are the types of the values that you can put inside DynamoDB. That is string, number, Boolean, binary, and so on and so forth. So I'm done for this product here. That is this item here. So I would simply click on create item. And now we can see that we have this item here inside our table. So now let's try to get all the items from this table inside our application. So what we are going to do, we are going to install a couple of packages inside our application. So first would be client DynamoDB. And the second one would be libDynamoDB. Though this npm package provided by AWS is not required, but it makes your life a hell lot easier instead of simply using this client DynamoDB, because you can do all the CRUD operations using only this npm package. But if you would use this lib package, that is this libDynamoDB, it would be like a piece of cake to work with DynamoDB. So we are going to install both the packages inside our application. So let's go to our terminal here and let me paste in the package name here, that is client DynamoDB, and the second one was this libDynamoDB. So let me copy it, let me paste it, and let me simply remove this thing here. So once it is installed, it would take a couple of seconds. So now the packages are installed, and let me install one more package that is called CUID, just to create random unique IDs for our product. So that would be like easier for us to manage the IDs of the product. So now this package is also installed, and let me clear out the console. And if we have a look at the package.json file, we have these dependencies here. So let's go back to our app.js file, and instead of working anything, or instead of doing anything inside the app.js file, what I would like to do, I would like to create a new Dynamo client here inside our application. So what I'll do, I'll simply create a new file called DynamoDB client. So DynamoDB client.js, simply like this. So let's open this DynamoDB client. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to require a couple of things from the packages that we installed. So we'll say const something equal to require at AWS client DynamoDB. And here what we need to do, we need to simply get the DynamoDB client from this package. So DynamoDB client like this. And now from the other package, what we need to get the DynamoDB document client. And I would let you know that why we need that DynamoDB document client. So DynamoDB document client. And now here what we need to do, firstly we need to create a DB client. So we'll simply say DB client equal to new DynamoDB client that we imported from the client DynamoDB package. And here we need to pass in the options. So here we need to pass in the region for our DynamoDB. So to provide in the region, we need to provide in the exact region where we created the table. So we created this product table. That is, if we go to this product here, we created this table inside this region here. That is US East 1. If you would have created an Asia Pacific Mumbai, then you would have to use AP-South-1. But here we are going to use US-East-1. So let's go back, and here we can simply do US East 1 like this. And then we need to provide in the credentials for this document client. And if you remember, we need to provide in an access key ID. And then we also need to provide in the secret access key ID or the secret access key. And these two keys we simply copied and pasted here. So let's cut it from here and let's paste it here. That is the user that we created, that is tutorial user. So let's click copy this and let's paste it here. And that's all what you need to do for these keys here. And now what we need to do, we need to use this package here, that is libDynamoDB. And now coming to the question that why we need this libDynamoDB. And it is because it simply translates JavaScript objects or JSON objects into DynamoDB format. Because as we saw earlier that when we created product inside DynamoDB, we need to provide in the type of the attribute for a particular field, that is a string, number, null, or something like that. So that's what it does automatically from plain JavaScript objects to DynamoDB format. So that is why we need to use this package here. So what we so as you can see that the JavaScript type would be string, would be the attribute value would be equivalent to s in DynamoDB format, and number would be n. Otherwise, if you would have not used this package, then you would have to specify the type of each field with these notations here, that whether it's a string, then you need to provide an s, otherwise you need to provide an n for the number, and so on and so forth. So since we are using this package, we simply omit this thing here, and like this is automatically done by this package here. So to use this client, what you need to do, you need to simply copy this piece of code from here, or let's simply copy all this from here, that is these Marshall options. And you can simply read about these Marshall options. It is like self-explanatory here. So let's simply paste it here. So as you can see that whether to automatically convert empty strings into null. So we can see that we have provided in this option here, and whether to remove undefined values, we simply provide in false here. And like if you simply copy and paste it here, like you would be good to go. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then we need to copy this translate config from here. So let's copy this and let's paste it here. So that's all what you need to copy and paste. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a document client from this DB client that we earlier created. So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to say const document client equal to DynamoDB document client that we imported from this package, that is libDynamoDB. And here we need to pass in dot from, and here we need to pass in the DB client that we created and the translate config options. That is these options, that is the Marshall option and the unmarshall options. So that's all what you need to do inside this file. And one more thing, we also need to export this this document client to be used in other files. So we'll simply say module.exports equal to document client, simply like this. So that's all what you need to do inside this file. And now let's go to our app.js file. And now the beauty begins. That is how to get all the products from our table. So that is super simple to do. So we need to import something from something. So this should be equal to require. It should be libclient, and make sure you are using the libDynamoDB here, not the client DynamoDB, because everything we need to do would be from the libDynamoDB. That is the wrapper around client DynamoDB. So to get all the products, we should come to this function here. And here what we need to do, we need to use a scan command. That is a scan the table. That is to get all the items from the table. So here we need to import the scan command from this package. And why I said that simply use this libDynamoDB, because this scan command is also present inside the client DynamoDB package also. So therefore, make sure that you use the scan command from libDynamoDB. Otherwise, you would say that the scan command is not working, but it is working if you import it from the correct package. So here we'll say const response equal to await, because since we are using v3 of the AWS packages, we are directly going to use await here. And since we are using await, we need to mark this first function as async, and this would be the case for all the functions. because every function would be async function. So here we will say await document client, and this document client is exported from this file here that we just created, that is this document client dot send. And what we need to send, we need to send a command to DynamoDB, that is to scan the table. So we'll simply say new scan command, and here we need to pass in only one option, that is the table name. In our case, the table name was this table name here, that is this product here. So what we can do, we can simply like create a constant variable here, because we would be requiring this in multiple places. So product, and the table name would be this table name. So table name like this. And here what we can do, we can simply console log the response. So console.log response. So that's all what we need to do here. So let's save it. And now what I'll do, I'll simply call this function, that is get all products from this app.js file. So I'll simply say get all products like this. So let's save this, and we'll simply start our application here by doing npm run dev. So we see that we have this thing here, that is the metadata here, the consumed capacity, and the count. Count is the number of items present inside this table, and the items contains the actual array of items. So to get only the items, what we can do, we can simply say response.items, simply like this. So once we save this, our application restarted, and we see that we get back an array of these items here. That is the price, random key, and iPhone 14. So this is how we list all the items. So let me simply make a comment here. So list all the items like this. And now let's see that how do we add a product to this table, that is add a product. So add an item to table like this. And here what we need to do, we need to use something called a put command. So what we can do, we can simply require this put command from this libDynamoDB package. And again, you should use this put command from this libDynamoDB package and not the client DynamoDB package. So here we need to use the put command. So what we can do, we already have the product here. So what we can do, we can simply say const response equal to await document client dot send. And here what we need to send, we need to simply send in the put command, and put command expects in a table name, that is in which table we need to put in the product. And then we need to provide in the item here, because all the rows inside the table are called items. So therefore we need to provide in the item, and the item would be this product that is coming here as a parameter here to this function here. So what we can do, finally, we can simply log in the response here. So console.log response. So let's save it, and let me comment out this thing here. And here what we'll do, we'll simply say add product, and the product would be this object here. Or let me create a product first here. So const product equal to an ID, and ID would be a CUID. That is a unique ID coming from this CUID package that we just installed. Then we need to pass in the product name. So the name would be, let's say, iPhone 14 Pro Max. Price would be let's say $11.99, simply like this. And since it's a NoSQL database, you can simply provide in as many attributes to any X item or any X row. So let's say color would be purple. And now what I can do, I can simply pass in this product here inside this add product thing here. So product. So let's save this, and we should be getting a response back here. And we get back a status code of 200, which means that we have simply inserted a product inside our table. So if we go back and if you open this table here, and if we have a look at this thing here, that is explore table items, we should be getting a product here. Oh, we see that we have this thing here. That is a unique ID, color, name. So name would be this thing, and price. And now at the same time, we can again get back a list of all the products. So we can simply uncomment this function here, and we can see a list of all the products here like this. And now let's say that how do we delete a product? So it is pretty simple. If you're following along, you should be knowing that there should be a delete command. So delete command. So let's copy this. And here what we can do, we can simply say const response equal to await document client dot send. And here we need to send in the new delete command. And here we need to pass in the table name. Table name would be table name. Then we need to provide in the key here. That is, which key should be deleted. In our case, it's an ID with a value of this ID thing here. That is this ID here. So let's try to delete the first product that we created. That is this random key here. So let's go back. And here what we can do, we can uncomment this thing here. And here we can simply call in that function, that is delete product by ID. And here we can simply pass in the product ID here. So let's save this, and we should be getting a response back in a moment. Or I guess that I haven't logged in the response. But if we check the table here, if we refresh the table here, we see that that product is deleted from here. And even inside our terminal, or even inside our application, if we simply call in this get all products, we should be getting only the product that we created. That is only this product. So now you know how to delete our item. And now let me minimize this function. And now let's see that how do we get a product by ID. So that would be pretty similar to this thing here. That is this thing. So let me copy and paste it here. And instead of sending a delete command, we should be calling a get command. So there should be a get command also, that is get an item. So that would be a get command. And instead of the delete command, we should be simply using the get command here. Not inside this delete function, but inside this get product by ID function, that is get command. The table name would be the same table name. The key would be some key. So let's go back and let's copy this ID to get this product ID. So here what we can do, we can simply call in that function, that is get product by ID, and here we can pass in the key. So here we also need to log in the response, that is this response. So console.log not resize by response dot item, like this. So let's save this, and we should be getting back only this item here. All right, so we get the products, all the products inside an array, and then we get this thing here. That is this thing here, because we have already we forgot to comment out this function here, that is get all products. So we see that this is function. So this is working. So let me save it again, and we see that this is working. We get the product by ID here, by this ID. So now you know how to get a product by ID. So let me minimize this. And now let's come to the difficult part of this DynamoDB application, that is updating a product by ID. So let me do one thing, that is let me create a couple of products here. So let me create 13 phone here, and let me simply remove this color from here. And let me simply call in this add product. So this product should be added. So now let me add in a couple of more products. So let's simply add in the 14 here and 599. So let's save it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to comment out this add product from here. And now let's see that how to use the update product by ID. So first let's get a product by ID. That is, first let's use this command here, that is get a product by ID. And let's go to this console here, and have added a couple of more products here. So let me simply copy this ID from here, that is iPhone 14 ID. So let me paste in this ID here, and let me save it, and let me get this product. So we have this product here. So let's copy it, and let's say we have this updated product here. So updated product equal to this object here. And instead of this price would be, let's say, $8.99. And it should have a color also. So color would be, let's say, black. And now what we can do, we can pass in this product to our update product by ID function. And instead of passing in an ID here, for now, let me simply provide an item here, or let's simply provide a product here. So what we can do, we can use the same add product command to simply override the current item inside the table, because it has the same ID. So what we can do, we can simply call in this, we can simply copy and paste this code from here. Let's copy and let's simply paste it here. That is, we are using the same document DB. We are using the same document client. We are using the same put command as in the add product, add product function. And we are simply using the same table name and the same item that is passed as a parameter here. So since we have this updated product, so what we can do, we can simply call in this thing here, that is a product by ID, and we can pass in the updated product. And let's save this. All right, so we get an error here, and that is because we simply pass in the function here. Instead, we need to pass in the updated product here. So let me paste in this thing here, and let's save this. And now we see that we get a success message here. And if we have a look here and we refresh the table, we see that now also we have only 3 items here, and the color is black. That is, the product is updated. But this is not the correct way to update a product inside DynamoDB, because we are overwriting the complete object or the complete row inside the DynamoDB table. So instead, what we need to use an update command, and that would look something like this. That is, we need to use in the update command, this update command. And now let's say, let me comment out each and everything from here. That is this thing from here. And let me also like remove everything from here. Or let me simply remove the put command from here, because we are going to send a new update command. And let's say we get a product here, that is this updated product here. So let me uncomment out this thing here, and let me simply pass in this product here, that is updated product, to this update product by ID. So what we have here is this, that we have the ID of the product. So we can say product.id, because the product has an ID. That is this product that is passed here. That is, this updated product has an ID here. This ID or this item we want to update. And let's say that the price we want to change it to $6.99. So we have the price to $6.99. So we can say const price would be product dot price, and let's simply change it to $6.99 here. And just bear with me, because this is the most difficult part of DynamoDB, that is updating a product or updating an item inside a table. So let's say we want to update the price here. So what we can do, we can pass in the new update command here like this. And again, we need to pass in the table name. The table name is this table name here. And then we need to pass in the key, that is where we want to make this update happen. So let's say we want this update to happen inside an ID, with an ID field here, that is inside this key, which has an ID of this ID here, that is this product ID. And then we need to pass an update expression here. That is what we need to change. So we'll say, we'll simply want to set the price field to something, and let's say that something is price. For now, let's simply say that this price would be this price here. And then we need to provide in the expression attribute values here. That is what this price should be equal to, because this is not this price here. So let me simply change it to P here. So we need to pass in this P here, that is setting the price to this price here. So we can say colon P would be this price here, that is this price here. And that's all what you need to do to update a product. And now let me simply log in the response. And if I did everything right, we should be having the updated price to $6.99. So currently we have $8.99. So let me reload. We have this $8.99. And once I save it, we should be having the price to be $6.99. So let's save it and let's give it a whirl. So we get a status code of 200. And if we reload the application or this thing here, we see that the updated price is $6.99. So this is how we update an item inside a DynamoDB table or row. So guys, that's all about this video. If you have liked the video, do hit the like button. And if you are still not subscribed to the channel, then what you are waiting for, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. So thank you. Bye bye. Tata. Take care and have a good day and have a great day.